Every professional plumber in America knows a secret the faucet industry does not want you to hear. The faucet your grandmother used for 50 years was made from a completely different material than the one sitting in the box at Home Depot right now. And it is not an accident. 5 corporations now control over 40 faucet brands, and they have quietly replaced solid brass with a cheap zinc alloy that corrodes, cracks, and fails in as little as 5 years. The average water damage claim from a burst plumbing fixture is nearly $14,000. We are going to expose the engineering downgrade destroying American plumbing and show you the 3 things every plumber installs in his own house instead. If you have walked through the plumbing aisle at any big box store recently, you probably believe you are looking at a competitive marketplace. You see names like Delta, Moen, Pfister, Kohler, and American Standard, and you assume these are independent companies fighting to earn your business. They are not. Masco Corporation, a publicly traded giant generating over $7.5 billion a year in revenue, owns Delta, Brizo, Peerless, Kraus, and 68% of the German brand Hansgrohe. Fortune Brands Innovations owns Moen, which is the #1 faucet brand in North America, along with the entire House of Rohl luxury platform. And the Japanese conglomerate LIXIL bought both Grohe for €3 billion and American Standard for $542 million. Between these 3 parent companies alone, that the brands that fill the shelves at every store in America trace back to the same corporate boardrooms, making the same cost-cutting decisions. When every name on the shelf answers to the same handful of shareholders, there is no real incentive to build anything better because you are already competing against yourself. But the corporate structure is just the business model. The real damage is happening inside the metal, and understanding what changed requires a short chemistry lesson that could save you thousands of dollars. For most of the 20th century, residential faucets were made from solid brass. Brass is an alloy of copper and zinc, typically 60 to 90% copper, and it has a remarkable property. When exposed to water, it forms a stable copper oxide layer that actually protects the metal underneath. That self-healing skin is why your grandparents had faucets that lasted 40, 50, even 70 years without a catastrophic failure. The body itself was practically indestructible. The only parts that ever wore out were rubber washers that cost a quarter at any hardware store in the country. Starting in the 1980s, manufacturers began replacing brass with a zinc alloy called ZAMAK. The name comes from a German acronym for zinc, aluminum, magnesium, and copper. It was invented in 1929 as a cheap substitute originally called pot metal. Its melting point is roughly half that of brass, which means factories can cast a faucet body in 10 to 20 seconds, instead of the much longer cycle brass requires. Zinc trades at about $1.50 per pound. Copper trades above $4. A ZAMAK faucet body costs roughly 1/3 the material price of an equivalent brass part. The manufacturer pockets the difference, and you get a faucet that starts dying the moment you turn it on. Here is what they do not print on the box. When zinc alloy sits in constant contact with water, it degrades through a process called white corrosion. The zinc reacts with dissolved carbon dioxide and oxygen in your water supply, forming porous, chalky deposits that eat into the metal from the inside out. It gets worse. When that zinc body connects to the brass shutoff valves and copper supply lines underneath your sink, a galvanic cell forms. Zinc is the less noble metal, so it sacrificially corrodes to protect the brass fitting below it. The American Galvanizers Association specifically warns that the worst corrosion occurs when a small anode is connected to a large cathode, which is precisely the configuration inside every zinc faucet connected to brass plumbing. A solid brass faucet lasts 40 to 70 years. A zinc alloy faucet lasts 5 to 10. No amount of chrome plating on the outside changes the chemistry happening underneath. But the material downgrade is only half the story. In 2014, a well-intentioned law made the problem dramatically worse. Congress redefined lead-free from a maximum of 8% down to a weighted average of 0.25% across all wetted surfaces. The goal was legitimate. Lead in drinking water is dangerous. The unintended consequence was devastating for faucet quality. Traditional leaded brass was cheap to machine because the lead acted as a built-in lubricant during cutting. Removing the lead meant switching to expensive alternatives like bismuth brass or silicon brass, which cost significantly more and are much harder to work with. But zinc alloy is inherently lead-free by specification. It requires no reformulation, no new tooling, no expensive certification. A law designed to make your water safer gave manufacturers the perfect financial excuse to make your faucet cheaper. They even developed a way to hide it on the label. It is called core and shell construction. A thin brass waterway insert is placed inside a zinc alloy body, so the water technically only touches brass. The box says brass construction. The structural body of the faucet is cheap zinc that will corrode within a decade. You are paying for the word brass while getting a pot metal shell. And then there is the cartridge trap, which is perhaps the most cynical engineering decision of all. Go back 50 or 60 years, and every faucet in America used simple compression valves with universal rubber washers. If your kitchen faucet dripped, you unscrewed the handle, popped in a new washer, and you were done in 5 minutes. A complete assortment kit covering virtually any fixture in the country cost $6 to $8 for a pack of 50 pieces. Every neighborhood hardware store carried them. The brass body never failed. You just replaced the cheap consumable part and moved on. Modern faucets have abandoned that system entirely. They now use proprietary ceramic disc cartridges that are brand-specific and model-specific. There is no universal sizing. Replacements cost anywhere from $10 to over $100 each, and they can only be sourced from the original manufacturer. Now here is the mechanism that converts a repairable faucet into a disposable one. Manufacturers regularly discontinue cartridge designs every time they revise a model line. The European Union requires brands to supply spare parts for at least 5 years after discontinuing a product. The United States has no such law. When your $20 cartridge is no longer in production, you face a brutal choice. Spend hours hunting for a compatible aftermarket part that may not exist. Pay a plumber $150 to $400 just to diagnose the issue and try to source the cartridge, or throw the entire faucet away and buy a new one for the same price. The economics make replacement the only rational decision, which is exactly what the manufacturer wanted from the beginning. Now you might assume you can protect yourself by buying a name brand at a trusted store, but there is a shell game happening between the factory and the shelf that most homeowners never discover. Manufacturers create different model numbers for big box stores versus plumbing supply houses. The faucets look nearly identical on the outside, but the internal components are different. The most widely cited example among tradesmen is a Kohler widespread model. The big box version uses plastic drain assemblies and lighter gauge materials. The plumbing supply house version, one digit different, and the model number uses machined brass internals. Plumbers consistently report that big box faucets weigh roughly 2 pounds, while their supply house counterparts weigh 4 pounds for what appears to be the exact same product. Home Depot controls 32% of all kitchen and bath fixture unit sales. Lowe's controls 24%. Together they move 56% of every faucet sold in America. Both chains push their own house brands, priced 20 to 30% below the name brands on the same shelf, which creates relentless downward pressure on every manufacturer to strip costs or lose their position. Home Depot's Glacier Bay brand alone, manufactured by Globe Union Industrial of Taiwan, generated roughly $280 million in revenue in 2022. When one retailer can dictate margins on $250 million of product, so quality is the first thing sacrificed, and do not let the lifetime warranty fool you into thinking you are protected. Every major faucet brand stamps lifetime warranty on the box, but read the fine print. That warranty only covers the original purchaser. It is not transferable. The average American moves every 7 years, so in practice your lifetime warranty is a 7-year warranty at best. No brand covers labor costs, and a plumber's service call to swap a cartridge typically costs more than a brand new faucet. One manufacturer was even documented offering what they called a lifetime warranty until discontinued, which meant the warranty could technically expire the very next day. The warranty is a marketing tool, not a guarantee of durability. So if the entire marketplace is engineered to sell you a disposable product disguised as a durable one, what do you actually buy? You do what every plumber does when he puts a faucet in his own house. You stop trusting the packaging and start trusting the weight of the metal. Option 1. Buy Moen, Delta, or Kohler, but only from a plumbing supply house and never from a big box store. The models sold through professional channels consistently use heavier brass components, metal drain assemblies, and better cartridge technology. Delta in particular is legendary among plumbers for their no questions asked cartridge policy. Walk into any supply house with a worn-out Delta cartridge, and they hand you a new one on the spot. That kind of parts availability over decades is worth more than any warranty card. Option 2. Buy commercial grade and install it once for life. Chicago Faucets has been in continuous operation since 1901 and still runs a brass foundry in the United States. Their quatern compression cartridge has been interchangeable with every unit manufactured since 1913. Think about that for a moment. That is over 113 years of backward compatibility. A repair part you buy today will fit a faucet that was installed before the First World War. No proprietary lock-in, no discontinued models, just solid brass and universal parts that never go out of production. Waterstone Faucets in Murrieta, California takes the opposite approach to everything the big brands do. They machine every single product from solid brass or marine-grade 316 stainless steel bar stock. Not castings, not assemblies, but bar stock machined in-house. They test to 500,000 on off cycles, which is double the industry standard, and they build everything in America. These faucets cost $1,000 to $2,500. That sounds expensive until you realize they will outlast the house they are installed in. Option 3, and this is the detail most homeowners completely overlook, but every plumber considers essential. Ask your plumber about installing quarter-turn ball valves under every sink and behind every toilet in your house. A quality brass shut-off valve costs $15 to $30 and lets you kill the water supply to any individual fixture in seconds. If a cheap faucet cartridge cracks at 2 in the morning, that valve is the difference between a drip in the basin and $15,000 in water damage to your floors, cabinets, and subfloor. The average water damage claim in America is $13,954. 1 in every 60 insured homes files one every year. Plumbing supply line failures cause nearly 48% of all interior water loss. A $30 valve paired with a $500 brass faucet is the cheapest insurance policy you will ever own. The faucet that lasts forever is not extinct. It is just buried behind zinc alloy bodies, proprietary cartridges, and marketing language designed to make you believe a $100 product is built the same way your grandfather's was. It is not. The metal is different. The parts are designed to be thrown away. And no regulation in this country requires a faucet to last a single day longer than the return window at the store that sold it to you. But if you know what to look for, if you check the weight in your hand, buy from a supply house, and demand solid brass, you can still put a faucet in your home that your grandchildren will never need to replace. Do not let 5 corporations turn your kitchen sink into a subscription service. Check the metal, check the model number, and never underestimate a faucet that feels heavy enough to last, because it probably will. If this changed the way you think about what is under your sink, hit subscribe so you never miss another investigation like this one.